Good morning, everybody. This is Matt Webster again, back today. It's been a while since I've filmed a video. I've had a lot happen in like the last month and a half. Um, a lot is different in my life, I would say. Um, I stopped going to church, things like that. Uh, Never stopped preaching God, never stopped reading the Bible, stuff like that. I mean, I have days where I don't read. Um, Also, sometimes not perfect. I don't pray all the time like I probably should. Today, though, I wanted to get into a topic of something that's been on my mind for a while. So, recently, I've been going out on a lot of dates and stuff like that, and one thing I'll say that I'm doing that's not very Christianly is that I am sleeping with women that I'm not in a relationship with, and I understand how that's not godly and not of Christ. Having said that, though, one thing that I'm finding that and I'm not really enjoying it too much, to be completely honest, at least not in the respect of what I'm looking for. But one thing I'm noticing around me is that a lot of my friends and stuff are struggling with finding partners. And I would say in this generation it's very hard based on what's out there in the media and the world and things that we all should really be ignoring. I tend to ignore them very well myself, but I can see how my friends in that are not. Having said that, one thing that's been on my mind a lot is that I don't stop trying to find somebody. I don't stop hoping that there is something out there for everybody. I hope for my friends. Um, I actually recently watched as one of my closest friends struggled. He had someone that he really liked, and she was kind of going back and forth with him, back and forth, on what she wanted. Um, and I've never seen this man hit so hard. I'm like, he's been frustrated and upset a lot lately. Even so much so that he's kind of taking it out on everyone else. And watching it, it's kind of hard because I went through something similar months and months ago, and it's very hard, I think, as a man to admit this, but when you really, really do like someone and you're put into a situation like that, it is very hard to keep hope. Um, and I see a lot of men, especially in my age group, just give up and quit because they don't like that constant battle and constant not knowing of what, you know, what the person on the other end wants. Um, Having said that, going back to that word hope, I had a lot of my coworkers, because sometimes they get really annoyed with me and the fact that if one thing doesn't work out, I move on to the next. And it's not because I didn't like the person or didn't like whatever. It's that I don't like to give up on the idea that there is someone out there. And there are people that I honestly would still secretly hope could potentially be the one, as we all like to say. But I'm also not someone who sits around and waits for everything. I tend to go out into the world and do my own thing, which can both be good and bad, depending on how you look at it. But something that my coworkers had said that I was like a yo-yo, a human yo-yo. Um, I get pulled along, then I come back. Pulled along, then I come back. And the idea of it was is that I bounce back quite quick a lot of the time. I hit these like little lows, but then I come right back to being that hopeful, carefree moron that everyone thinks that I am. And I say moron because like a lot of people think that I'm very stupid and think that it's ridiculous the fact that I go and go and go and go. But the reason why I stay like that is because I grew up watching a lot of shows and TV things. In fact, I'm starting to realize my character list that I was doing, that I hope to finish at some point here. Almost all the characters on that list are characters who are driven by hope. And I really think when we look at that word, you have to understand that hope's different for everybody, but to have hope and to keep going is possibly one of the most Christian things you can do. And what I mean by that is that you have hopes of where you're going and how you're going to get there. You hope for a better day. You ride out the storms even when all else seems to point in the direction that you're on a sinking ship. I mean, you can even go into the Bible a little bit here, and there's a whole passage where Jesus is on the boat with the disciples, and there's a storm, and they're freaking out because they're having a lack of hope and faith, and Jesus calms the storm with his hand. And it kind of highlights a point that there's always got to be one hand on the wheel, so to speak, of life, and that hand is a hopeful hand. You don't make it through storms by panicking and stressing out. You make it through by keeping yourself aligned with that word. To hope is to move a path forward, to be a pillar. Some of my favorite characters in all of anime and movies all were like that. Two good examples, one from a book series, is Aragorn. Aragorn was the hope of his people. Knowing his lineage and where he came from, he still chose a path to be better. He had hopes of uniting everyone and ending evil across the land. Then there's an anime, a more recent one, My Hero Academia. I would say All Might. All Might inspired everybody, despite the things that he went through. When you watch the show, he gets hurt really bad fighting the main villain. But he was the hope of everyone, and he inspired an entire generation to become the best kind of people that they could be. Having said that, the reason why this word so significantly to me is important, for a long time, I feel like a lot of people have viewed myself as a monster, and it can be kind of hard, like when you're viewed a certain way, to change perspective on people, or to change what people see. And sometimes you're not going to, but for me, there's always been like a quiet hope that I'll get that moment, and then I can be the hope for my friends and stuff. They can see that through me, that one, God really does exist, because me doing the things I do otherwise doesn't make any sense, especially not to me. In fact, some of the things I've been able to accomplish seem insane otherwise, but also because I want them to be able to achieve the same things, and to inspire those around you is the greatest gift of hope that you can give. And I know that it comes from God, but it still takes our actions. It requires us to move. And I really do genuinely believe that that word, hope, it means something more. It means to persevere, to endure, to cut a path forward. So, I'm hoping that this video finds everyone well, and that somebody out there gets something from this, because I look around the world right now and I see a lot of people losing hope, and I think they're looking in the wrong places for it. You gotta start by looking from within, and look to the people who you know are really doing good around you. Anyways, next time.